Hello everybody, I'm going to show you the quick egg lab procedure today. First of all, you'll start with a sample of 3 grams of quick egg relief, about 3 grams. Record the exact mass of how much sample you took. Remember, the idea here is to figure out why are these pills being chipped. Is it that the binder ratio is off, or is it that there is a contaminant, aspirin, acetyl salicylic acid, present in the sample? For accomplishing this, we'll take this sample and try and separate out the 3 components, which is the binder, acetaminophen, which is the active ingredient, and ASA, which is the contaminant if it is there. For accomplishing that, you take the sample of quick egg relief and you put it in a 125 ml Erlenmeyer flask, and then you take 25 ml of ethyl acetate. The amount of ethyl acetate is not critical. You take 50 ml of ethyl acetate. Amount is not critical because you are going to be evaporating it. So you take 50 ml of ethyl acetate. Also, the container in which you had your quick egg pill sample, if there is some residue sticking in there, you might want to use some ethyl acetate to wash it out and completely transfer it to the Erlenmeyer flask. Once you put 50 ml of ethyl acetate into quick egg sample, you shake it really good, give it 2 to 4 minutes to dissolve completely. If desired, you may also use a glass rod to stir to make sure that it completely dissolves. Once you are sure that it has done dissolving and no more is dissolving, then you are ready to filter it. For filtration, we use this assembly. It is called Buckner funnel. Buckner funnel creates a partial vacuum. So what we do is we put the funnel on top of the flask. The flask is attached to the side arm of the water. And when you turn on the water, it creates a partial vacuum in here. So it makes the filtration go faster. The only idea of Buckner funnel is to make filtration go faster. It's just filtration, but enhanced filtration. Before you filter out your binder, it's very important to pre-weigh the filter paper, because if you don't pre-weigh it, you'll have to repeat the experiment because you don't know how much binder you've collected. Once you pre-weigh your filter paper, I suggest you also pre-weigh empty watch glass, because you won't be able to collect all the binder on the filter paper itself. So pre-weigh a watch glass and a binder paper together. Then what you do is you put this pre-weighed filter paper inside the Buckner funnel and turn on the water and pour out all of the solution in there. If some residue is sticking there, you may want to use a tad bit more of ethyl acetate, not a lot, but a little bit more, to take this residue out from here and pour it back in there. And as you can see, it is filtering pretty fast. And what we have on the top of this funnel is the residue, white residue of the binder. Now on the pre-weighed weighing dish, you flip this over and take this out. You might have to use forceps to loosen the filter paper. So use forceps to loosen the filter paper, and when you tip the Buckner funnel over, it'll come on the watch glass. So this is the watch glass with the binder and the filter paper. You will leave it to dry. Follow my instructions in class how to leave it to dry for the next day, so then we can weigh it out and get the mass of binder. Now we have separated one of the 3 components of quick egg relief, which is the binder. Let's move on with the other 2. So now you're going to pour the filtrate into separatory funnel, and I already did that here. While you pour this, use a funnel to pour this liquid from the separatory funnel from the Buckner funnel into the separatory funnel. Once you are done pouring it in there, you add an aqueous layer, which is NaHCO3, You put it in there, and you will see two separate layers are created. You close separatory funnel, and you can see the two layers real clearly here. The bottom layer is aqueous layer, and the top layer is ethyl acetate. Now we shake it really good, holding the top, and we release the gas. Let's shake it one more time, release the gas, and then let it stand. If there is aspirin contamination, at this time aspirin is going to move into the aqueous layer, which is the bottom layer. You can see it's starting to clear up, and the top layer is ethyl acetate layer. Now you're going to remove the cap once it has separated completely and take out the aqueous layer into a beaker. You don't need to pre-weigh this beaker because you're going to precipitate out the aspirin using HCl. And you stop it here. You repeat the procedure with 25 more mils of NaHCO3 to make sure you've extracted any aspirin that is in there. Now what you're going to do is, to this aqueous layer, you will keep adding HCl in an ice bath. So you first put your aqueous layer in ice bath. Ice bath is nothing but a beaker containing ice. And then be very careful with 6 molar HCl because it is highly corrosive. And as you add HCl, you have to make sure to add enough where the pH goes about 2. And I did that with previous sample, and you see that it got turbid, meaning there is a precipitate or contamination in there. If you get a turbid solution, then you got to filter it out using Buckner funnel again. Make sure to pre-weigh the filter paper at this point. So that would be our aspirin. Now the last component is acetaminophen, which is present in ethyl acetate layer. You take out ethyl acetate in a pre-weighed beaker. It is important that you take it out in a pre-weighed beaker because we're going to evaporate the ethyl acetate. Okay, so but before that there is one more step. So you take out the ethyl acetate. I'm running quite out of beakers here. You take out ethyl acetate layer. You have to dry the organic solvent. So what happens as you shake it with NaHCO3 or aqueous layer, some of the water goes in the organic layer. To dry the organic layer, we use a solid which is called magnesium sulfate. And I will show you how to do it. I'm not going to wait to get all of it out, but you will get the entire layer out. Then you're going to add a little bit. This beaker does not have to be pre-weighed. Now you're going to add little of MgSO4, and you'll see when you add it, it kind of clumps to the bottom. It is not free flowing, it is clumping. That means it has got water in it. We'll add a little bit more MgSO4 to it, and then we'll shake it again. It is still clumpy at the bottom. That means there is water in it. We are going to keep adding MgSO4 till it does not clump anymore. And now you can see that MgSO4 is moving freely and not clumping. So at this point we know we have dried our organic solvent. Now you're going to pour it in a pre-weighed beaker, making sure to leave the MgSO4 behind. And now we're going to put this ethyl acetate that has been dried and put in a pre-weighed beaker over a water bath. I will show you that procedure in class. Thank you.